When it comes to buying car parts, the world has become a smaller place. Because you can shop online, you can now get parts shipped internationally very, very quickly. But the dark side of this ease with which we can get parts means that the parts market has been flooded with fakes. So in this video, we're going to talk about fake products that you buy for your car that are often sold as genuine manufacturer parts. We're also going to talk about reconditioned parts and some of the things to look out for on those. And also we're going to be discussing the aftermarket parts. So that's parts that are made that are compatible with your car or your manufacturer, but they're not from the manufacturer. So it certainly shocked me that a lot of parts being sold as genuine Audi, Volkswagen, Honda, Toyota, whatever the brand, you can get fake parts from pretty much any auction site or any online marketplace. So how do you watch out for these? How do you know if a parts supplier is genuine or not? The old mantra, if you buy cheap, you buy twice, certainly applies when buying car parts. So if you were quoted a price from your dealer and the online price is substantially lower, that should raise a red flag. So if the price seems unusually low for this genuine part, it may well be that it's not genuine. It's often not until you unbox the new part and you compare the part you've purchased with the part you're replacing that the manufacturing corners that have been cut are evident. The lower quality materials, the poorer finish. I've seen metal components with rust spots starting to form on them. The manufacturer produces a nice polished finish on that particular part, but the non-genuine part came and it had a pitted surface and rust spots on it. So that certainly raises a red flag. We've had people replacing cam belts and they've broken within a couple of years just because the genuine part they thought they were buying turned out to be an inferior quality fake. So find out where the parts are typically made for your manufacturer. So that may be Germany, it may be Japan. So if the boxes come from China or have a made in China badge on it, that could well be a red flag. The origin of the part is certainly questionable. A lot of copy parts are produced in China. Also other countries, we don't want to knock everything that comes out of China, but I've seen so many inferior quality parts made and fakes. It's worth pointing out that anomaly so that you don't get caught out. When you look on the website where you're purchasing, if there's typos or misspellings in the description, that should also raise a red flag. If they're using a generic photo for all the different parts, they couldn't be bothered to photograph the actual part they're selling you. That could also potentially be a bit of a red flag to look out for. And look at the reputation of the seller. Is it a small online seller that was maybe set up a year ago or 6 months ago? Or have they got a nice long period of trading? Have they got very, very good feedback? Reading through the feedback, you'll often see sellers with lots of 5-star ratings, but you get the occasional person that gives a very low rating and explains that they had a bad experience and details why. And if there's a few of these that indicate they bought fake parts or low quality parts that broke, that brings into question the reputation of the seller as a whole. So always look for a reputable brand to buy from. So whether that is the manufacturer, the dealers often sell parts online under their dealership name. So that would give you a badge of quality, something to judge the quality of the parts by. It may be a national level parts supplier. Now, they're going to be very keen to protect their reputation, or they should be. If a national parts seller is starting to sell non-genuine parts as genuine, they're going to be found out and closed down. So that's not a risk that most of these large national parts sellers are willing to take. There's also moves out there to introduce a code that you can check the genuineness of a product. It's called the MAPP number, and you can enter this in an app or on a website and it will tell you if that part is genuine or not. And that's gaining traction. More and more brands are subscribing to this way of authenticating parts using the serial number and the purchase location to identify these non-genuine parts that are out there. So what about original equipment manufacturer specification parts? So this is where an aftermarket manufacturer has produced parts that fit and are compatible with your car. Are these bad? Well, again, the quality varies considerably. There's a lot of performance aftermarket brands that are much better than the manufacturer. They've used higher quality materials. the expense of these parts is much higher to reflect the more expensive materials, the extra research and development, and they all come with a safety approval standard. So they've met the regulatory authorities' specifications for that part to be used on a vehicle on the road. So be very careful when buying things like brakes, brake pads and other safety essential items, that you do get one that is approved and safe to use on the road, because a lot of these non-genuine parts and a lot of these cheap aftermarket parts are just not even tested to any standard whatsoever, and they can fail catastrophically, risking life and certainly causing damage to your car. So I've got to also talk about reconditioned parts. Now, a lot of people will sell a part as reconditioned, and all they mean by reconditioned is I cleaned it up. So I've seen turbochargers that have been sold as reconditioned units, and the only difference is they look nice and clean and shiny. They've been sometimes disassembled, but sometimes not even disassembled, and all the carbon and all the dirt that's built up on them has just been cleaned off, and they've sold that as a reconditioned unit. So surprise, surprise, 3 months down the line, when your window for returning these items or raising a complaint on a lot of these auction sites or online marketplaces has expired, it conks out on you. It fails, so you've got no comeback. You're stuck with this part you bought and you've only got 3 months use out of it. So again, that's that mantra, buy cheap, buy twice. Don't get caught out. If it's a reputable supplier and it is reconditioned, they should have at least stripped it down, inspected the components and replaced any worn components in it, particularly if it's a turbocharger. This market for fake parts from manufacturers is growing. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. So manufacturers are fighting back. They have teams that track down these fake parts. They take legal action. They use law enforcement agencies where appropriate. Or you can help with this effort if you spot any non-genuine parts that are being sold that are badged as genuine. Report that to the manufacturer, report it to the trading standards, report it to the marketplace that you were buying it from. So whether that's maybe an Amazon marketplace or one of the eBay auction sites or other similar auction sites out there, report it to them. They don't want these fake products on their platform. So you'll be helping everyone. Make sure you leave a review as well and give any evidence you can in that review that this item is fake. So that may just mean taking a photo of the genuine part and the part they supplied, so people have got an instant comparison of the parts. It's very hard for them to explain the right way the discrepancies, and makes your case a lot stronger, and often action is taken against these disreputable sellers. So don't get caught out with this multi-billion-dollar industry of fake parts. Make sure the parts you fit to your car are genuine and of good quality. Don't shy away from other manufacturers making parts that are compatible, because some of those are much better. I think particularly of the Volkswagen Group water pumps, where they had plastic impellers, and some of the aftermarket ones are built to much higher standards with metal impellers and last a lot longer. They don't suffer from that premature failure that the plastic ones do. So if you found this video useful, please boot the like button. That really does help us to get out there. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. We don't want you to miss out on all the great content we've got coming up, and you might want to check out this video or this playlist that I've lined up for you. Thanks for watching. See you in this next video.